Now, I've played a lot of early access games. If you've been around this channel for any stretch of time, you know how much I enjoy playing games during their production for whatever reason. There's just something so interesting to me about seeing what a game turns into, and having been there the whole way, turns even the production of a game into an interesting journey all of itself. Now, that's not without some bumbles and flops here and there. Early access as a concept is still incredibly fresh, as well as dangerous for the consumer only. Since companies are not required to ever finish the game, it can lead to a lot of floundering titles. The first that comes to mind for me is Second Extinction, which was a game that was right at the finish line, or at least seemed to be, when the publisher just sunk it. Now, I just have this little PNG to show for it. Thanks, guys. Early access is also interesting since it's a title in a state where it is not yet complete. That's the whole point, right? Yet we still expect that if the developer is putting this game out on the market at all, even if it's early, it should still have plenty for us to chew on, as well as a solid game plan for where they plan to go next. So let's take a look at that in the context of Witchfire. And don't just take my word for how good Witchfire is. It's sitting pretty at 92% positive of its nearly 4,000 reviews on Steam alone. That's healthy, especially for a game that isn't even done yet. Now, the most initially striking thing about Witchfire is the aesthetic and pure vibes of the game. It's got incredible craftsmanship when it comes to its art design, and this gothic medieval world filled with nasty spirits and horrifying creatures has been beautifully brought to life by the art team here. The locations are full of excellent detail, telling a story of a place once full of life, now but a husk of the village it had once been. Now it is swarmed by the witch's minions, of whom you must slay. Speaking of minions, they look fantastic too. Beautifully horrifying in all the best ways. The story that props up this art style is equally great. As described on their Steam page, you play as a wicked sinner turned witch hunter on your final mission to reach salvation. This is a fun premise. It's simple, yeah, but same as it's like a Doom guy level of premise where it's like, this is just fucking awesome. In terms of gameplay, this is best described as a roguelike with the flavors of an extraction shooter. You have a main hub that you slowly upgrade as you progress along your adventures. You level up your weaponry, craft new weapons, and research new spells to unleash upon the tormented souls you're to send back to wherever they came from. When entering one of the many zones, you collect resources around the world as well as from the corpses of dead enemies. Dying before you return will leave these things behind, so it's not uncommon you will make a quick run to one of the maps to collect the few things you need before dipping out of there. The progression of the game feels really nicely paced as well. At the beginning of the game, you pick up from 6 different classes that range in difficulty, each excelling at something else. Want to play a witch hunter that excels in slinging spells? How about the penitent, a gunslinger still haunted by his horrible past? These are great starting points that really get you into the vibes of the game from the very beginning. Not to mention they look rather badass. I personally started with the Hunter, who's very fun and very versatile. After you pick your character, you then start with 1 location out of the 3 available in early access, though they plan to have 6 on launch. Each of these is an open world area that has its encounters re-rolled at the beginning of each time you load in. The first map took me a little over an hour to complete, and the best part in my opinion is that they really just let you run around these maps and discover its secrets at your own pace. In terms of progression outside of the maps, where you'll be hunting enemies and solving small puzzles, you also have the aforementioned crafting system. This system is pretty great, although my only real annoyance so far is that the main hub does have you running around quite a bit just to do the same things every time you get back from a mission. Regardless, how their crafting works is that you pay an initial fee, and then as you quest around on the worlds, you progress the research. This could be for weapons, spells, or other items. The main hub is also where you will swap gear out, craft your health potions from the herbs you collect on your quests, and also where a tutorial resides should you need to brush up your combat skills. Now, as for what is presently available, 3 maps probably doesn't sound like a lot. However, the replayability is absolutely there, thanks to their leveling system called Gnosis. That's with a G for some reason. I don't know why it's called that. I don't know what Gnosis means, but it means leveling up in this game, and that's how I know it. Leveling this up is how you unlock the new maps, as well as new locations on previous maps. And each location also has different resources you need, so you'll always be returning to your old stomping grounds in a way that feels meaningful. It's strange, since my initial fear of this game was that this would feel a bit grindy, but that addition of discovering new sections of a map you've already seen is surprisingly really satisfying. It really manages to make you feel like some kind of hunter or explorer, not to mention the enemies scale with your Gnosis level, making the game always just challenging enough to make you feel like you shouldn't have been able to survive that, but you did, most of the time. The build crafting is a lot of fun as well. With the many types of different weapons and spells, as well as the different classes, it feels really good to shake things up as you go. and the gunplay feels really clean and well executed with plenty of maneuverability. Altogether, the game really does feel incredibly solid already. The fact that the game feels this excellent with only 3 maps is incredible, and I'm so unbelievably excited to see what the next 3 have to offer. I haven't even covered everything in this game, including relics that add interesting synergies between your build, kind of acting like buffs. It's really fantastic how much the developers really valued what they had to offer us, and it really shines through. In short, Witchfire is a fantastic first-person shooting roguelike with extraction shooter elements. The developers have been really communicative with their upcoming plans, and the game already has more than enough to justify the $40 price tag in my opinion. If this is your first FPS or roguelike, or even extraction shooter, however, the game can feel pretty unforgiving. I would recommend maybe watching some more content on it or waiting for a sale, just so you know for sure you're really going to enjoy it. Since $40 is really a lot of money, especially in this economy. But truly, this is one of the best early access games I've had the pleasure of experiencing. Anyhow, thank you so very much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, leave a lovely little like on that button down below, and if you'd like to see more from me, give that subscribe button some love. But most importantly, have a goddamn wonderful day, and don't die. Now I gotta run over here and click off. Clicking off. Click off. Stop. It froze. There we go.